99.9% of men have never been taught how to treat a woman. 99.9% of men have never been taught how to love a woman. I'm talking about mentally, physically, spiritually, or emotionally. I want to go back to a book that I read many years ago, and I continue to read the book now to this day, and it's called Think and Grow Rich. When I first read the book, my favorite chapter in that book was on auto-suggestion, because it talks about the mind and how you can speak to the mind, really program it to create the life you want. But over the years, when I've read Think and Grow Rich, I've gone into other chapters, and I usually glean something more than I did before. It's a book that is touted as being one of those books that many successful people have read that has propelled them to where they are today. Even when Napoleon Hill wrote the book years ago, he talked about the notable people who used this science that he created the book from to achieve wealth. So what I want to talk about is the chapter on sex transmutation. Going back to the time of when Napoleon Hill wrote this book, it was revolutionary for him to even cover that topic, right? Because during that time, sex was a taboo piece of our conversation piece. But even all these years later, when you look at what he wrote in that book about having a control, especially for men, men drive so much of the physical experience, but whoever really teaches a man how to do that. Now, I can say for myself, when I was 12 years old, I discovered adult content, right? Like a lot of young males, you begin exploring. No one's there to give you information. And so this becomes your identity. And it plays into other parts of our relationships as men, because no one really ever educates us. So we have to go and educate ourselves. And that's the reason why I start the video. I was saying 99% of men don't know how to be lovers. 99% of men don't know how to love a woman, because it's just not something that's taught. Along my journey of growth as a man, being a married man, being a man who's always looking to grow, I just have to look back at that chapter, which I recently reread, and it just stands out to me because it comes at a time when I've been on a journey from moving away from the adult content to putting more of that energy into educating myself. And that's the reason why I say, as men, that we drive so much of the relationship experience. We have to be the leaders, but the women cannot be led if men don't know how to lead, right? And that's in all areas and every aspect. I think about, as I sit here, I didn't plan for this video, I didn't write anything down, but I just wanted to speak to a topic. I was watching a YouTube video with Charleston White in it, and they were talking about the rapper Offset from the group Migos and Cardi B, his former wife and the mother of a few of his children, and how Cardi B is now dating, or has been dating an NFL player. Now, what I like about what Charleston White said is she had all the right because of what she had experienced. Now, those aren't his exact words, but for me, I feel that, if you was good for the goose, is good for the gander. Now, I don't know who knows about that saying, but whatever you do, don't get upset when it's done to you. I don't care who you are. It amazes me how often the male gender will get upset about something that's done to them that they've been doing. And then we back it up. We'll go on video and we'll talk about how bad she is. Okay, maybe she was with child at the time when Offset discovered text messages on her phone for this communicating with this football player. But I'm certain that she had discovered text messages too. Now, I don't get into people's personal business or their private lives. That's their business. But what I'm saying, my message is here, is just a trickle effect where, because men just are not taught how to be responsible, how to be accountable, we kind of latch on to things that are not so healthy at times. Now, you may agree, you may disagree. I don't know. But I just wanted to talk about that. If at any point in time you happen to read the book Think and Grow Rich, maybe you've read it before, I'm going to say go back Read the chapter on sex transmutation, especially males. Women, you can read it too. But again, as males, we drive so much of the physical experience that it's our job as leaders. But again, women cannot be led if men aren't willing to step up and lead. And there are certain things that we look at as being masculine that is not masculine, is really just toxic, right? So the only way we can begin to change that trend is we have to step up. We have to begin to seek out education. We have to learn about ourselves, learn our histories. When it comes to intimacy, learn our bodies, learn our partner's bodies. A lot of us base our, especially males, we base our experience in our experience is driven by what we see in adult content, but it isn't really healthy. I'm going to make more videos on that because of the journey that I've been on. But what are your thoughts? Leave it in the comments. Do you think that when something is done to a man that he's been doing, that he should be upset? What are your thoughts as it relates to men being leaders in the different relationship areas? And I'm not just talking about physical, I'm also talking about financial as well. So leave it in the comments. We love to hear from you. But again, until the next time, I just want to encourage you to own your mind, own your money, and own the keys to the bank.